transactions. And we're going to do this by making them more digital and data-centric. Before I begin, I will share a little bit about my story and how I ended up here today. So Ship2MyID was founded in 2012, around my 7th birthday. And in America, we have a tradition at birthday parties to give the guests who come to your party a little goodie bag with some presents. At my birthday party, my father accidentally forgot to bring the goodie bags. So at school the next day, I went to the principal and asked if I could have the addresses of my guests so that I could give them the goodie bags and ship it to them. However, the principal was hesitant to give me the addresses for 2 reasons. One, there's a concern about privacy of giving people's addresses out, right? And the second is you can't be certain that they still live there because people can move addresses often. However, she was very willing to give me their email address. And being 7, I took the email addresses home and I was like, Dad, let's just ship it to their email address because I thought it was the same thing. But that's when it clicked for us, that there was a gap. It was a little outdated to be shipping to a physical address, and we needed to transition to a more digital version of this. And that's how we came up with Ship2MyID and our vision, which is the digital post office 2.0. One world, one postal network, one ID. This means we envision one worldwide postal network where every single person has a unique digital ID. The benefits of this for the consumer is that they will have 100% consumer privacy. They will have the complete control of what they can receive, as well as the ability to ship to a cell phone number, email, or digital and social ID. They will also have a unique lifetime address. So if they move, they'll still have the same unique lifetime address. The benefit for the post office is they will become the consumer data hub and the single source of truth. It also helps with cross-border e-commerce because if you're shipping to a unique digital ID, there are no barriers to language or address formats. It will also help enable more postal operation solutions. And this is how. We have a very simple model of engagement. We are going to be a white labeled service through the post offices, and the post office will be the custodian of all the data we gather. All businesses, third-party shippers, and governments will use data from post offices. Together, Ship2MyID and the postal operator will onboard brands, meaning Ship2MyID is bringing the business, the merchants, the consumer technology, and we will participate in revenue share, meaning we only make money when you make money. All of us combined will help make post offices the single source of truth and identity. Currently, we have MOUs in place with 45 countries in Africa and similar engagements in Asia Pacific with around 28 countries. However, Ship2MyID is not just a concept. We have signed 7 contracts with countries in Africa worth $323 million and have an estimated $1 billion pipeline for just our first phase. Now I'm going to discuss some of the opportunities and challenges. Currently, online commerce has a growth rate of 9.49% per year, meaning right now it's a $4.1 trillion market, but in 5 years, it'll be a $6.9 trillion market. The issue is that post office revenue and market share for e-commerce delivery is going down. Only 19% of overall commerce is sold online today, meaning 81% is still brick and mortar. This means there's a huge opportunity for the post office, and Ship2MyID is going to help you capitalize on this opportunity. Less than 7% of the world population is registered with post offices. 47% of buyers buy from online marketplaces, and 62% of sales happen on these online marketplaces. But the transformation starts with the post office leveraging its own strength. The post office is the only organization with the ability to deliver to every home, to every citizen in every country. With government's permission, they can have access to national IDs, making you the only organization that can verify the identity and the address of an individual. The Postal Office also has the largest last mile network, leading to high consumer trust and association. And lastly, they have the support of the UPU. So let's understand the elements of a transaction in e-commerce. There's a buyer who finds a brand or product, purchases it from a store or marketplace, and then you receive it in the last mile delivery. The store or marketplace, who's the person accepting the money, they're the people who decide if the post office is going to be involved in the delivery or if they're going to deliver themselves. We want to change this. We want to further the relationship between the buyer and the brand and the post office. As I said, 7% of potential users are registered with post offices. We want to change this number by making everyone involved in the post office relationship. Now, there's two parts to this: what to buy and where to buy. Within what to buy, I'd like to focus on digital advertisements because this is the number one way that people in my generation want to learn about the products that are available to them. The digital advertisement market is an $820 billion market right now with a growth rate of 17%, meaning they have a projected revenue by 2028 of $1 trillion. Our goal at Ship2MyID is to help the post offices capture 25% of this market, $250 billion in the next 3 to 4 years. Before I discuss some of the challenges, I'd like to ask a few questions. So I'm sure many of you have smartphones, right? How many of you have 2 to 3 apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, like things like social media apps? Many of you, right? How many of you can tell me 1 or 2 advertisements you've seen in the last few days, what the company does and what they do? Not many, right? This is the issue. These companies, these merchants are pushing 40, 50, 60 ads an hour at you on these applications, but we are not going on these applications to see these advertisements. But this is the number one way that the merchants in your country are pushing advertisements to get their products known. One of the big companies, Facebook and Meta, they get 1 click for every 100 impressions on an advertisement, and only 1 transaction for 10 clicks. This means for every 1,000 impressions, they're receiving 1 transaction. This is a horrible conversion rate, and it means that the merchants of your country are spending money on 999 impressions with 0 benefit to them. Ship2MyID will change that. The second issue is data privacy. How many companies are spending billions and billions of dollars in penalties for data privacy violations? Ship2MyID can change this because we have a multi-patented platform. That I'll discuss later that the platform can be used to enable transactions with 0 PII shared. So I'm going to talk about Uber for a second. Are most of you familiar with Uber or any rideshare apps like that? Prior to Uber, there was taxis. And with taxis, the issue was there was no predictability. There was so much friction and chaos because the passenger would wait and wait for a taxi to show up with no clue when they're going to show up, where they're going to be. The driver is driving around looking for passengers with no clue where they are. Then Uber came around, and they took the power from the hands of the driver and put it in the hands of the passenger. The passenger can say, this is where I am, this is where I want to be picked up, this is where I want to go, and this is when I want to be picked up. That's what we want to do with Ship2MyID and digital advertisements. We want to empower the buyers of these products to say when they want to receive these advertisements and from whom they want to receive the advertisements from. This is the platform I was talking about when I was speaking about the no PII shared. I'll give you an example. You can see on the left-hand side that this is the traditional information that is shared. You see the address, name, phone number, email, all this contact information. What Ship2MyID will do was replace this with a unique digital ID, as you can see on the right, which is non-PII, meaning it removes the data privacy issues. Now I'll pass it off to our CEO to talk about how we can enable the Post to become the direct-to-consumer hub.